Cut my veins, and salesmanship pops out. So says George Naddaff, the 77-year-old founder of Boston Chicken, U-Food Grill, and several other successful businesses. So what is this master salesman's secret to success?
Well, George Naddaff is really a classic Inc. entrepreneur. I mean, here's a guy born poor in Boston. His parents were immigrants from Lebanon, and he started out as a shoeshine boy, then hawked newspapers, and transformed that humble beginning into a truly miraculous success, culminating in what he's best known for, which is Boston Chicken.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Everybody likes to talk about how I built Apple, Microsoft. The truth of the matter, all of them have had failures. One thing had to stay consistent. The food had to taste great. Healthy to people, they think it's going to taste like cardboard. It's rampant. I mean, 34% of Americans are obese. But the kids are obese. Children, believe it or not, are the target of Dr. Oz. He has a company called Health Corps. Never in the history of the United States has there been a better time to come on stream with better for you food, healthier food. You've got Oprah talking about it. You have all the talk show hosts in the country supporting this effort. Today, if you walk into our restaurants, 80% of the people that are eating there are just like mainstream folks. They just like eating good. People talk health, but they do not walk the talk. I will give you a copy of a speech that a guy made to ninth graders on the subject of failure. Not great successes, but failure. And he learned more from the failure in his life than he did of the successes. And he made a copy of this and sent it around the country, and suddenly it ignited the fact that everybody likes to talk about how I built Apple and Microsoft. But the truth of the matter, all of them have had failures. And we're all products of our previous lives, successes and failures. So when I, for instance, look at something today, somebody comes in with an idea, I'm looking at it with the eyes of an 80-year-old man that has seen everything humanly possible in his life on concepts. And I've tried a bunch of things. In fact, I have a picture in the back of 3 dolphins jumping in a big tank with 500 seats around it. And it was an aquarium that I built. And blew $3.5 million. So I tell people every time I see a fish, I have a certain reaction to fish. But, oh, George, you've done so much. But the truth of the matter is I have done things that haven't worked. There's something up there called Coffee by George. That Coffee by George is exactly what is being built today in double drive-thrus. Yet it was too soon.
Too soon.
So, you can be too soon, and if that's the case, you better have a lot of money to sustain yourself until you get there. Or if it's too late, you're amongst the also-rans.
Do you think, I was reading the article in the lobby about how you thought you might have been too soon with U-Food. Do you think you are now, or do you think you're right?
Now I'm on the money, but it took us $30 million to get there. And because in healthy food, people talk health, but they do not walk the talk. New Year's Eve, I'm going to join the gym, I'm going to lose 15 pounds, and I'm going to look good. 2 months later, what happens? She drops out of the gym. That's why they grab you for the upfront fee, because they know you're going to drop out. And then in May, she's got to start getting ready for the bikini, or the guy's got to look good. I'll go back to the gym in 2 months. People, if you had 100 people in this room, and you asked them the question of what they thought of the word healthy, what healthy meant, you would get 100 different answers. the celiacs, the glutens, the vegans, the organic, the runners, the gym rats, Jenny Craig Weight Watchers,
Yeah.
curves. Every one of them would have their own version of what they think healthy means. Now try to put a menu together that would satisfy all those people. It's an impossibility. So what we had to learn over a while is that even if I did take care of those 20%, I need 80% to launch a national chain. 20% will not get me out of the box. So we had to start taking our menu, which was very organic, very vegan. We bragged about it. But we began bringing it closer to the middle. But one thing had to stay consistent, that the food had to taste great. It could not taste like tofu and salads, because if you say healthy to people, they think it's going to taste like cardboard.
Sure.
So we had to go to the extreme and then finally realize that everybody isn't running down the streets and everybody isn't going to the gym and everybody isn't and so we get closer to the menu that we have today. And today, if you walk into our restaurants, 80% of the people that are eating there are just like mainstream folks. They just like eating good.
Yeah.
And not that they have to go every day, because I'm sure they still go out and get their burger and their fried clams and chicken. And so it's been a journey much more difficult than anything I've ever done in my life.
Really?
Yeah. And if I had to do it again, I would think probably twice, because I think I could have built 2 or 3 more businesses in this space of time. But now, all of a sudden, Michelle Obama has got billions of dollars to devote to obesity. You've got Oprah talking about it every day on television.
Right.
You have all the talk show hosts in the country supporting this effort. You have schools. Pepsi and Coke just took out of their schools the sugar-laden drinks that have been in these schools for 30 years. They pulled them out. Never in the history of the United States has there been a better time to come on stream with better for you food, healthier food. We've got to inform the parents first.
Right.
Now, children, believe it or not, are the target of Dr. Oz. He has a company called HealthCore. HealthCore is a non-profit entity that's funded by movie stars, the big wigs in New York City, doctors. And the purpose of HealthCore is to bring to the inner cities where the obesity is rampant and teach these young kids what's bad about the food they've been sipping. Why do you think there's a McDonald's in every one of these inner neighborhoods, or a Burger King?
Right.
And down south, the rule for putting a Popeye's fried chicken was in the inner cities. That has been the cause of what we have today, and this obesity issue.
Right.
It's rampant. I mean, 34% of Americans are obese. But the kids are obese. If they're obese now, they're going to be obese when they get... I get on the bandstand on this thing.
Good.
It pisses me off, excuse the language, because you think it has to take this to get people to address the issue. Now, when in 1973, I was the Chief Executive Officer of the National Association for Child Development and Education. In those days, there were only 5,000 privately run daycare centers. Kids were 2.5 to 6. Today, in America, there is 75,000 privately run, for-profit daycare centers. I think that HealthCore and Dr. Oz, with the money they're getting, should not only focus on the inner cities, but they ought to focus on these nursery schools, these daycare centers, when the kids are 2.5 to 6, because a child learns 80% of whatever it's going to learn in its life between the ages of 0 and 6.
Right.
So if you can get to the parents, and then to the kids, and start right then and there, you can then begin to turn the tide against this crazy issue.